Ssenkaayi, and this is a brief introduction about him. Mr. Ssenkaayi is having a master's in business administration, majoring in marketing management and strategy at Uganda Matters University. He's a postgraduate project management, a diploma. He's advanced in training, small and medium enterprise management. He's also advanced in training in entrepreneurship. He's also advanced in communication and public speaking. Mr. Simon has worked as a founder and manager of Global Empowerment Consult. Has also worked as a radio host program on Radio 1 and CBS FM. He's also working in the marketing department at Keynote. He's a freelancer researcher, and he has several services as a former National Director of World Faith International, Uganda chapter. He's a former UN online volunteer, a Democratic Party youth leader, much in the sub-county, a former youth representative, and he has membership in both International Youth Council and Uganda Youth Council. He's also a member of Uganda Red Cross Society, UELO, member of the Global Speakers Federation. He has initiatives that he has created, like the African Dream. He has also created inspiration moments, and also follow him on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and more social media accounts. And at this moment, I want you to join me and welcome Mr. Ssenkaayi.
Hi, graduates.
Hi.
You should smile. Say, this is your day. Sometimes, when you go to speak somewhere, and they give you such an introduction, you begin to worry that you might say things that are contrary to the introduction. So I hope I'll try. The guest of honor, the academic staff of Kampala International University, the clergy, parents, guardians, and sponsors, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply humbled by this trust and thankful for this privilege of addressing this gathering, especially on such an auspicious ceremony. On welcoming President Obama to the British Parliament, Commons Speaker MP John Baba said, "History is more than a path left by the past. It influences the present and can shape the future." History, continued, is not a burden of any one man or woman alone, but some are called to meet a special share of its challenges. An American writer and novelist, Paul Ssenkaayi, also said, "If you want to understand tomorrow, you have to search yesterday." But what gives meaning to these statements is summarized in the words of a great Chinese philosopher, Confucius, who said that if you would divine the future, you need to study the past. What is this past? 8 years ago, great men in whose symbolic shadow all prevail today conceived an idea from the halls of London Training College, an idea that would impact on the people and influence the course of change in many lives of young people in this country. Frank Kiyimba and Ronald Ssenkaayi, two friends from UK, defied the odds, came back to Uganda to establish a training center that would help young people become or reach their full potential. They would name this center Principal International College, which later came to be known as Kampala International College, with a dictum quest for higher heights. Today, 8 years later, remarkable impact has been created. The training center stands, many have been employed, many lifted from poverty, students empowered to continue their journey, and yes, our presence here is living testimony that this impact is still expanding. So as we gather here, in this moment of time, we come to reaffirm the importance of humanity, the power of our actions, and to continue a never-ending task of expanding the fruits of this legacy to so many other places of this nation and of the world. When we try to look into their yesterday, there are thousands or hundreds of lessons that we can pick as young people of this generation that we can use to face the complex challenges of our tomorrow. Their labors remind us that you don't need to be extraordinary to change the world. Yes, the world might look at you as an ordinary person, but if you equip yourself with extraordinary thoughts and will, there is no mountain you cannot climb and no slope you cannot control. Their experiences continue to remind us that sustainable change and lasting impact are not just defined by education or faith alone, but also the will to act and pursue your dreams, no matter the odds. Besides coming up with such a great idea of constructing a training center, they knew that without the implementation of this idea, their time and effort would be wasted. Therefore, they went ahead to realize their dreams, mindful that having a great vision and not acted upon is much less than a small vision that is in play. So they teach us that irrespective of how small the idea might be, if we do something about them, they can become something. They therefore teach us that if you find who you are, what you want, what the price that you must pay to get it, and when you want it, and you begin moving directly into the direction of what you're looking for, you can have it. They teach us that the brightness of our future is no longer in the hands of individualistic efforts, but rather in the effectiveness and efficiency of the institutions that we build. Ronald and Frank could have directed their energy and resources into building a strong business empire, but they knew that would contribute less to the development and growth of this nation. So they always remind us never to be greedy, irrespective of our selfish gains or our intrinsic motives. We should also focus on our purpose of creation, which is humanity. Therefore, with such a perspective on life, instead of constructing or establishing a business, they established a training center that could not only avail an opportunity to economically disadvantaged young people, but one that would train and prepare human resources needed to drive our economy to independence. One that would produce moral and ethical, upright professionals necessary for growth and development, and avail accessible and affordable research, consultancy services to this nation. They worked hard every day of their time so that we could gather here to celebrate and witness a dream come true. This is the journey that will continue today. Each of us being called upon in our own capacity to add a block in this country's foundation. And to you and us who still aspire to climb the ladder of success, this great achievement tells us that honesty, vision, hard work, perseverance, consistency, and persistence are synonymous to success. Therefore, a diploma or a certificate that you're yet to achieve today is not the epitome of knowledge or a guarantee to success. You're required to keep yourselves in the know, as Darwin Toffler puts it clearly, that the illiterate of the 21st century won't be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn and relearn. You have to keep it in mind that the greatest enemy of progress is our yesterday success. That gives you a thinking that you've achieved the greatest thing in life. This is just the beginning. Progress or potential isn't measured by what someone has achieved, but by what people or what someone can achieve. What you've achieved today is not your potential, but what you're yet to achieve, but you've not achieved yet, that's your potential. That's why you should never measure your success by how many people are behind you, but by how many people are in front of you. We must also understand that self-contentment is the prison of tomorrow's great innovations. Oftentimes, it is true. Unexpected success can be overwhelming, but it takes a steady hand to ride the waves without sinking into the depth of self-delusion. The old African hunter said, "Do not lose sight of the antelope when a squirrel darts across your path." This is the squirrel. Keep your eyes on the horizon. Keep your eyes focused on the antelope, because it is bigger than this. I would love to share with you the concept of a seed. So many of us have gone to the market and have bought mangoes. But after eating the mango, the fresh of the mango, you throw away the seed. Two people were given these seeds, and they asked each what they were seeing. The first person said he was seeing a mango seed. The second person said he was seeing a mango tree. In every seed, there is a hidden mango tree. In every mango seed, there is a hidden, trapped mango tree inside. Whatever this seed needs to become a mango tree is never outside the seed, is within the seed. That's why when you throw it somewhere where there is warmth, after some time, the warmth ignites the process within, and after some time you're going to find the shoot and the root. You are a seed. When a mango tree grows into a tree and bears fruits, it never eats its own fruits, and it never causes people to eat the mangoes. People, the passerby, are attracted to the mango tree because of the fruits. Each of you was given a seed inside. You're supposed to find that seed, nurture it and grow it, and begin bearing fruits. As so many people focus on looking for money, focus on nurturing that seed. That's why we say when you find yourself, the world is going to find you. You need to find yourself. Why? Because education is not the papers that you're going to present after here. Education is not the diploma or the certificate that you have. Education is what you can do. In my father's generation, education used to be defined as an investment in human capital. In my generation, education is what you can do after forgetting everything you're taught in class. So many young people go through universities and institutions. They spend years studying things that no longer exist. You go to so many libraries in universities here, and you read books that were published in 1970s, 1980s, reading information that no longer applies to our generation. So that's why young people, after graduation, spend 5 years